So, Michael, what makes conscious use of self so hard?
That's an excellent question. In fact, all your questions have just been so wonderful. Thank you so much
Thank
for that.
you.
What makes conscious use of self so difficult is how our minds work. That our minds work like this. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's say this is your mind. You may not recognize it that way, but let's just do that. Now, it's made up of all these records of your past experiences, you know, it's like, I remember when I was 4 years old, I got an experience of electricity. You know, I was busy asking my mother all these questions like, where does the light come from? And she would say, you know, it's electricity, etc. And then she would get too busy and move on. But my older brother overheard me, and he goes, Michael, you want to know about electricity? I said, yeah. So he gives me a hairpin, one of my mother's hairpins, and he goes, stick it in there. So I have a real experience of electricity. Of course, I have an experience of my brother too, but we'll get to that. So past experience, and then an area that I call community teachings. I mean, these are things that I have learned, that I kind of live by, but I've never really experienced it. It's like, you know, I've never been hit by a car, you know, and I watch TV, I watch folks get hit by cars, but I know that's phony, you know. But still, I don't want to take the risk of walking out into the street to get hit by a car, to actually have the experience. So I'm trusting what I've been taught. Yeah, what I've been taught. So all those records are in there too. And then there's the third, which is all the stuff we make up. Like going back to my brother, say, from that experience with electricity and him, I've made up that he's an a-hole, you know? You know, I mean, there is no real fact around that, you know, but that's how I view him still to this day. Yes. I do not trust older brothers. All right, now, so all these together equal our beliefs about reality. Now, many of these records also say that this is real, that these are real. Now, part of how this works also is that there's a bunch of these records have got red flags on them that say, danger, danger, be careful, because part of the mind's task is to keep us alive. It's about survival. So we will often track through those first. Now, so let's push this a little further. So let's say this is now. And now is, I'm noticing you nodding off as I'm talking up here. So for me to know what that is, I have to go through here and see which of these records is most similar to you nodding off. And lo and behold, there's several in there of me now nodding off back in college when the professor was really being boring. So I play this tape, you know, that happens to be tape C4. for J96. So I play that tape. And you go, oh, she thinks I'm boring. I mean, that's really bad, you know? So then I go, wake up over there, you know? Now, the truth is, I have no idea why she is nodding off. She could have been partying last night, you know. She could have just taken some drugs, you know. Who knows? But I'm treating this as if it is an insult to me, because for me to be boring, that is an insult. And that offends my professorial ego. And I don't like that. And now, of course, I've put another record in there of the same thing. So these records get repetitive. There are many records of the same thing over and over and over, which simply reinforces that this is reality. You can also see that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. There's no new data getting in there. That everything we interpret based upon this is based upon old information. Now, for the most part, that works. You know, that if I'm wanting to cross the street, you know, I look both ways because I don't want to get hit by a car. You know, if my brother approaches me with a good idea, I'm automatically suspicious. That makes sense to do that. However, if we want to change things, things aren't working the way we want, then we need to do something to get out of this loop of self-fulfilling prophecies that kind of keeps us kind of stuck in the past. So that's the reason that you may have noticed that I left space for a third circle over here. And that circle, let's call it curiosity. Let me make that look better. We could call it openness, but basically it's curiosity to go, I wonder if this loop is telling me the truth. So she's over there nodding off. Maybe she's not, you know, bored by what I'm saying. Maybe she's truly fascinated by what I'm saying, you know, but the cold medicine she's taking, you know, is causing, you know. So maybe I can ask her and hear what she has to say. I'm not going to ask her now because she might tell me something I don't want to hear, you know. So, yeah. But anyway, through asking her, she gives me some new information, and that's a way that we can put new records in there. This is the way to learning. Now, there's a problem with this still. What's our favorite saying about curiosity?
Killed the cat.
It killed the cat. Don't be nosy, mind your own business. Now, it actually gets worse, because before I can be curious, I have to not know something. And what does our culture say about people who are ignorant?
They're less than, or we judge them bad.
Yeah, not good, not good. So even though we say that we value learning, learning cannot occur unless we are willing to choose to be ignorant, which drives us to being curious, which helps us to learn. When people ask me, Dr. Brum, you know, what's the secret to your success as an organizational psychologist? And my answer, 9 times out of 10, is it's my willingness to be ignorant. And I learned it the hard way because there were points in time where, I kind of thought, I got this OD stuff down, I know what I'm doing. And I would walk into a new client system coming from that perspective of, I know what I'm doing, and would crash and burn every single time. But if I go in ignorant, tell me more about what's going on here. I connect better. My intention is clearer. My ego is out of my way. So think back to our 3 keys. That's what I just talked about. And I can learn, and it helps my clients to learn too. So there's this difficulty of getting out of this loop. And then even if we get out of this loop, we've got to be careful about our beliefs, about reality, about curiosity and ignorance. But it's the only way that we can learn. So, of course, it takes, again, conscious use of self to get out of this. But that's why conscious use of self is not the easiest task in the world. Several years ago, I was teaching a course at Johns Hopkins on personal growth, and everybody was just excited about taking it. And the first thing I said, don't think this is going to be an easy task. This is hard work and some confrontations about ourselves that we don't particularly want to look at. So this is why conscious use of self is not easy. It's because our minds are focused on survival and making things work for us based upon the past. Any other questions?
No, just we're learning a new dance, and it's what I'm hearing is that it's hard work and it's ongoing. You don't just do it once and you've got it down, but that this is going to take continual practice and effort to bring this into our own selves and to really internalize this.
That's right. And being conscious about, when this is not working for us. Because 75% of the time, this is just fine. There's nothing wrong with this as long as things are working. But it's when we want to improve things, when things have to change, that's when we need to come from here to find out what's really going on, get some sound and current data about what this really is. This is not giving us sound and current data. This is giving us old data that most of the time is just fine. But if we need to change things, we need to know what this is right now. Sound and current data is a notion that we will talk about quite a bit, because this tells us we don't need sound and current data. So, all right.
All right. Plenty of work ahead.
You got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.